Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson at Infinity Whole Health. And in this video, we're going to be talking about fun facts of the heart. And so if you like this video, please consider subscribing as well as share this video. It's important to have these facts to many people so that they know what their heart can do and what it can't do. And the amazing facts about the heart. There are so many out there. I chose 4 for this particular video. Now, the first one is every day, your heart creates energy to beat, to contract, and it produces enough energy to literally drive a truck 20 miles. Now, what does that mean? Or what is that like? If we go a lifetime, an average lifespan, that would be like driving that truck to the moon almost 250,000 miles away and back. That's how much work your heart will do over your lifetime. That's impressive. I mean, the amount of muscle that work that it has to do is just incredible. Now, it just doesn't do it on its own. It needs some things. And what it needs most is it needs B vitamins to run those energy cycles. So what would we expect to be a B deficiency look like in the heart? Well, we would find things like, some fatigue happening. More advanced, we might have some murmurs, because now the heart, if it's strong enough and it pulls those valves tight, those valves close and don't regurgitate. Well, if they start regurgitating, we now have murmurs in the heart. If the heart enlarges and now starts to pull away from those valves, because valves are not muscle, valves are ligament, they do not grow. So if the heart is having trouble beating, it will actually try to grow in size. And as it does that, it will pull away from that valve, and now blood will squeeze through the side of that valve. And now we call that regurgitation, if you will. But also now we have some more advanced arrhythmia stuff and likely some atrial fibrillation going on. So these are all symptoms of a heart that doesn't have enough B vitamins, and I see it routinely in my office. Now next, the heart itself has a specialized node of nerves on the heart that if they don't get any communication from the brain telling it how fast to beat, then it knows it doesn't just stop beating. So that specialized nerve bundle is actually going to tell the heart to beat at about 40 beats a minute, maybe upwards of 45. Some of you may remember that Christopher Reeve, who was Superman in the 80s, had a horse accident where he landed on his head and neck, and he damaged so high up in his brainstem that it damaged the center of control for the heart regulation. Meaning if I start running, my heart is told by my brain, hey, need more oxygen, please speed up. He didn't get any of that message to his heart anymore. So that specialized node on his heart was beating at 40, 45 beats a minute. If he would laugh or talk too quickly, he would pass out from lack of oxygen to his brain. I mean, that's kind of scary. So, it's nice that the heart is well designed, but we still have this control center that has to go through our spine and go to it to control it and do things well. It's why I'll find people, as we take care of them chiropractically, that their heart starts to come into rhythm, even just adjustments alone. Because again, we're helping communication from an organ system to the brain and from the brain to that organ system. It's not just about back, it's about everything in your body functioning well. Next is the heart pumps blood to 75 trillion cells, all 75 trillion cells except for one group of cells. They don't get any blood supply. It's the cornea. Now, some people out there might be saying, it's the joints. Yes, you're right, but there's blood vessels close enough that they'll diffuse nutrients to the cartilage cells that are in our joints, but the joints themselves don't have any blood vessels running through it. If it did and I made a fist, I would break all those blood vessels against those hard joint surfaces. So we don't have any blood flow technically to the joint inner space, but those cartilage cells do. And that's where, as we look at arthritis, some of you may have listened to some of my podcasts and maybe other videos, I talk about arthritis. Arthritis is a condition where we see the joints getting bigger, and that's typically due to the blood vessels at the very edge of the bone are now starting to become occluded, or they don't have any blood flow going through them. And when that happens, all the bone cells that are migrating from the middle of the bone to the edge of the bone, those bone cells die instead of becoming cartilage cells. And if that's happening, it's happening much more globally, but it's also a problem with the heart. You're now calcifying blood vessels. So now you're putting pressure on your heart because now you must raise blood pressure to pump because it's not doing what it should. And so that becomes a problem too. So that's why as we look at arthritis, and maybe you're out there going, oh my gosh, I have arthritis. Does that mean I have a heart problem? It likely means you do. And it may be more advanced than you know. And so again, if you want to know how your heart is doing, I hugely recommend that you come in and we do a heart scan, which is a heart sound recorder. We listen to all 4 valves and we can see what's happening. We might do some chiropractic, we might do some nutritional stuff to help clear all that up and begin helping arthritis change. And we're going to do some dietary changes because those are pretty important things to do. We could probably reasonably, admit that whatever you've been doing to this point, if you have arthritis, is probably not the best thing for you. So it's time to begin to upgrade your lifestyle and your dietary habits and things that you're doing so that your body can start performing in a much better, much more capable way. So food for thought. The last is when the body is at rest, if you're just sitting there, it literally takes about 16 seconds for you to pump blood all the way to your toes and back to the heart. That's fast. If you go to the brain, it's half the time. It's only 8 seconds to pump blood to the brain and back to the heart. The lungs, shortest time, 6 seconds to the lungs and back. It's pretty impressive what we do. We are pumping blood all the time, obviously, but at about 2,000 gallons a day. And literally the heart is beating, or should be beating, a little bit faster than 1 a second. So it's roughly 100 to 120,000 beats a day. That's massive. It's billions of beats in a normal lifetime. That's crazy. That's a lot. And so our heart is an amazing organ. It's one of the few organs that cannot shut down to repair, but that's also why it makes it one of the fastest healing organs in your body. So those of you out there that are concerned about heart conditions, know that your heart heals fast. If you're out there thinking, I don't want to know how bad it is. Nah, I think you do because it's easier to fix than you think. But it does mean that you will have to change some things, likely. And so that's the kind of stuff that's kind of fun. Do you want to feel better? Do you want to have more energy? Then let's fix your heart. It's easier than you think. So one final fun fact, if you want to know how hard the heart contracts, think about a sprinter. Well-developed legs, man, they are powerful. The heart really squeezes twice as hard as those leg muscles do. That's a lot. If you want to feel what it actually feels like, grab a tennis ball, squeeze it. That's the pressure the heart has to overcome in order to pump blood to your body. And so some cool fun facts. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, share this video if you would and like us, all that jazz. And until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson at Infinity Whole Health. Thank you.